Good morning, afternoon, or evening, ladies and gentlemen. Allincrypto here, and welcome back, guys, for another daily cryptocurrency market update. It is Saturday, the 12th of the 8th, 2023. And as always, we have a lot to get through. We're going to start off with sort of where we left off yesterday, and that was speculating that actually we'd get a decision on the ETF in regards to it being approved or not approved or delayed. Yesterday, we did indeed get that. The deadline, of course, was on Sunday. Quite logical to suspect that actually the last working day before the weekend would be when the decision was given, and we do actually have that. So I want to sort of explore this a little bit. I don't think it's particularly negative. Of course, it's negative in the sense that they haven't approved it. They didn't necessarily deny it, but they delayed it. So I would say that this is progress. This is something that actually in yesterday's video we did speculate on them delaying, as it's very likely that they're going to approve a lot of ETFs at once. And if you look at the next deadline date, you can see actually that you've got a hell of a lot of ETFs: BlackRock's ETF, Bitwise, VanEck, WisdomTree, Invesco, and Galaxy, Fidelity, and Valkyrie, all at the start of September. And actually the SEC have, I believe, put a 21-day open to the public for comment period on ARK's 21 shares investment ETF proposal. So I think this is progress. You are going to get a Bitcoin ETF. We did a long video where we looked at the top 10, I think it was, crypto companies, and we looked at the holders of them. And this is Coinbase. And why am I bringing Coinbase up? Well, Coinbase is going to do sensationally well. I actually believe that their lawsuit with the SEC is going to get thrown out on the basis that the SEC viewed their company and allowed them to go public, basically gave them a green light, and is now almost retracted a lot of that. I think they're going to get a dismissal. You've got Lummis coming up and actually backing Coinbase. We'll look at the chart for Coinbase. It's interesting, especially where you are currently. You know, we predicted this breakout that you've had into stage 2. It's now a buy Coinbase. It's coming back for that retest, very textbook. And you're going to get some sort of news that's going to couple with the technicals that's going to send it in what I believe is now a bull market generally across the board, but for Coinbase specifically. And talking about Coinbase, you can see the top institutional holders are the likes of BlackRock, Morgan Stanley, and you've got Vanguard Group, and a whole list of others wrapped up in here. If you look at mutual funds, you've got ARK, of course. Then you've got Vanguard's ETFs, Fidelity, Morgan Stanley, and so on and so forth. So we got a lot to get into. We're also going to be talking about Visa. And then I want to play a clip from Gilbert Verdrian talking, who's the Quant founder. Quant is not a blockchain. It's essentially an overledger system that sits on top of the blockchain space that will allow institutions to gain access to these distributed public ledgers, distributed the DLTs, basically, blockchains as we know them. And actually, it's going to completely transform and modernize Wall Street and finance as we know it. So let's start things off, guys. As always, got a lot to get through. We've not even spoken about the Bitcoin chart. We'll get into it. Dollar's a bit of a concern for me, and I do expect higher prices for it. But yesterday, of course, we did get a denial of the ARK investment spot Bitcoin ETF. And this was the regulator's comments. They said, further to this point, the exchange notes that the commission has approved proposals related to listings and trading of funds that would primarily hold CME Bitcoin futures that are registered under the Securities and Exchange Act. So this is the controversial thing. So a Bitcoin ETF a spot Bitcoin ETF will be allowed. I think they're just stalling and buying a bit of time here. And whether that's to help their investment pals out, institutional pals out or not is speculation. I'm sure there is some proof of it somewhere. But when you have the likes of BlackRock, and this is why BlackRock was such a huge deal, it's very interesting again, and we'll go over to Coinbase, which looks similar to breakout retest. It's very interesting the BlackRock news that occurred right about here, which was, of course, the 25K neckline of this inverse head and shoulders, which projects you up here. You're going to fill this price action very quickly when it comes. And it could be on the back of an ETF. And actually, I think end of August, going into September is going to be rather a bullish time. I know that August and September can be quite tricky months for the markets, but it doesn't have to be the case always. And I actually think you're going to get, and we've really stated this, been very right on it, and we've expressed our sort of short-term indecision, which I think the market is validated. This is playing out in a similar manner, and it's very different. And this is my disappointment with the bears to people not noticing the difference in trends here, basic Dow theory. And until invalidated, we're ultimately expecting upside. But you are going to get an ETF, a spot one. You already have CME Bitcoin futures. You even have a leveraged futures derivative that have all been approved by the SEC. So it's not necessarily about them not wanting people to trade Bitcoin. It's more about them not wanting just yet, but they will, to give Bitcoin the legitimacy that we all know it deserves, and that BlackRock are actually front running. Once that happens, Bitcoin, you will probably never see an under $1 trillion market cap for Bitcoin ever again. It's very interesting how this bull market's likely going to have a lot of real institutional adoption caught up in it, not just for Bitcoin, but for altcoins. Eventually we'll have an Ethereum ETF. We'll move on to some Ethereum news. A Gassless Ethereum, propagated by Visa, a centralized entity. Crypto's in a very weird space, and the actual term crypto is misleading. It's like, when people say, when I explain to people what I do and I say crypto, it's kind of like saying, well, I'm into the internet. And you've got all these different things. If somebody says I'm into the internet, well, what about the internet are you into? Are you just into the internet? Are you into the commerce side of things? Are you into the service side of things? Blockchain's very, very similar. And I'm going to do a whole video. We've just bought a new camera. We'll probably go out with a bit of scenery and do some sort of videos associated with a number of talking points in related to the crypto. So the ETF was officially delayed. I don't think this is the worst news in the world. On August the 11th, so yesterday, the SEC opened a 21-day comment period for the ARK 21 shares Bitcoin ETF to the public following publication in the Federal Register. The latest delay for the regulator determining whether to approve or disapprove of a spot crypto ETF in the United States. ARK originally filed the ETF in May, so on and so forth. The regulated market of significant size test does not require the spot Bitcoin market to be regulated in order for the commission to approve this proposal. And President makes clear that an underlying market for spot commodities or currencies being a regulated market would actually be an exception to the norm, the SEC said on August. So this is new. I think this is good news. I think they're moving forward with it, and they're actually looking at it with a lot of seriousness and giving it a lot of credibility. Again, you're going to see this all play out in the price action. I think the price action is very much primed for that. Moving on to a little bit of Coinbase news. Senator Lummis files amicus brief supporting Coinbase's dismissal motion against the SEC. And this is going to have a lot to do with the fact that the SEC essentially allowed them to go public in regards to... The SEC would have had to review their entire company, what they sell, blah, 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 to allow them to do that. And actually, if you look at some of the largest holders of Coinbase that are likely to know about all this, they are the largest financial institution in the world. And talking about price action, here's a prediction from the Allincrypto YouTube channel and me. You are going to see a very strong bounce coming here. You've broken out of this resistance. Let's put it on a weekly chart. You will get a bounce. At some point, where you want to draw this resistance exactly at, is interesting, but you're going to get a similar thing happens. This isn't just going to go like that and continue to go down. This is now the start. This is a breakout. You've broken out here. You're in stage 2. This is likely going to be a retest, and you're going to see upside. Coinbase is a $200+ stock, in my opinion. And I think you're going to see that in a very short succession. They are going to be the exchange, in my opinion. And they are the only public company to actually offer and have a layer 1 blockchain, i.e. Base. So they're going to do extremely well. Moving on to a little bit of Visa news. Visa unveils experimental solution to abstract away gas fees. Isn't it interesting how we're seeing a lot of centralized entities look to streamline crypto and offer services to clients where they basically take away the kind of sovereignty and freedom properties of the crypto space, which we stand for. But ultimately, we think that there's going to be some big winners in regards to compliancy with the traditional institutions and in regards to actually upgrading their infrastructure. And we'll talk about that in regards to the Gilbert Verdrian clip in just a second. Visa tests a solution to enable users to pay on-chain gas fees on Ethereum. Giori, a testnet using account abstraction technology. The solution does away with the Ethereum necessity for end users to maintain ETH for transaction fees, even allowing payments with any tokens. Very similar to what Quant is doing. We know Visa is a partner of Quant network, and we'll see how this transpires. But you're seeing the entire world is moving towards crypto, ladies and gentlemen. Let's play this clip of Gilbert Verdrian. This is what the future looks like. Everything is going to be tokenized. Everything is going to be run on a blockchain. Quant may play a big role in that, along with many other cryptos. People think that we only hold a few cryptos. My portfolio, which you can find if you join, you get everything I hold to the token. You can find when you join my Patreon. Of course, it's something that we're always adjusting, always adding to, always looking at areas where it's weak, strong, so on and so forth. But let's go ahead and play this clip, and then I will love and leave you to your Saturdays.
So what could that mean, Gil, for the Quant network in terms of value, in terms of expansion, in terms of just business? Given that you have this pluggability now with the trading platform that's already got the door open to a vast network itself, what does it mean to have that first mover advantage?
Yeah, it's kind of like we're the infrastructure to enable this to happen, and so our code and our technology will be running kind of, if you think about it, Wall Street. It'll be running how institutions trade. It'll be running how people do settlements and stuff across networks, and how you can move a JP Morgan coin with a Wells Fargo coin. I mean, we can make that happen.
Do you think Wall Street are even aware of just how big not only the Quant network, but just this technology is going to be and how relevant it's going to be in the future?
Yes, they have recognized, and I think it's only been in the last 6 months, 9 months, they have recognized the potential. They've been looking at it for the last couple of years, thinking, what is this? Is this good for us? Should we look at it? Now that they see the potential, and they're all in. I mean, it's reshaping how Wall Street operates, because it's not a technology benefit only. It's actually a business benefit. So you get access to more investors, more institutions, more assets, more markets.
We're going to love and leave you there, guys. Have a great Saturday, everybody. A like and a comment is always appreciated. Let me know your thoughts on everything that we've discussed in the video in the comment section. Let me know if you just think I'm a rambling idiot that doesn't know what he's talking about, if that's how you genuinely feel. We are getting some really good moves from certain altcoins, lower cap altcoins at the moment, and long may they continue. Have a great Saturday, guys. See you in the next one.